Welcome back to the Ref Show. Not often we look outside the Premier League to lead a section, but we've got every reason to do so here. The Championship has thrown up loads of talking points. Most of them were centred on one game, the West Yorkshire Derby. Huddersfield 2, Leeds 1. Simon Hooper was in the middle for that. Very, very exciting indeed. Everything went off, didn't it, with the managers David Wagner and Gary Monk both dismissed right at the end following Huddersfield's late winner. The rights and wrongs of this incident, first of all, Wagner's on the field celebrating with the Huddersfield players.
Yeah, you've got to look at that. And as a referee, it's all about being proactive, okay? And I've got to say, both the fourth official, Ollie Langford, and Simon Hooper were not proactive in this incident. Because if they had been, then we wouldn't have seen two managers dismissed to the technical area,
what could
into
they
the
have done
stand.
to stop it?
Well, I mean, Simon Hooper, you can see the goal scored. You can see Wagner run straight across the pitch to celebrate with his fans. Okay.
Yeah. We'll have to see passion.
Well, we like to see that, but as a coach, as a manager, you can't do that. You cannot run right onto the pitch, right across, and get involved with your players. No. Okay. Yes, you can punch the air and do what you want in the technical area. Secondly, if I were Gary Monk, I would be absolutely furious because he's showed total lack of disrespect to the opposition and to the opposition manager. Yeah. So then what the fourth official should have been doing, Ollie Langford, should be saying to Gary, listen, I've seen it, get there, stay with him, I will deal with this if Simon Hooper doesn't. Yeah. And Simon Hooper should have been looking at Wagner, once the celebrations died down, gone over to him and walked back with him. Right. Directing him straight, to make it clear, to make it, he's going straight to the stands. Okay. And that would have stopped all that at the end.
So they both got dismissed. What was your take on it, Paul?
Well, I think Mark's exactly right. Sure, there's a lot of this coming in now. Managers showing almighty passion, turning to the crowd, running. Some of them are hamming it up. And you know why they're doing it, because he's full of passion, this manager, and so on. And they're talking for the crowd. Okay, I'm sure some of it is natural, but you can't get over passionate as a manager because they've just gone 2-1 up. He's got to be calming his team and getting it on, and getting it all ready, really. And there's reasons why he can't run onto the pitch, because it can cause a clash with another player. All sorts of things can happen.
You work for a manager, Sir Alex, who, when Steve Bruce scored 2 late goals against Sheffield Wednesday, I'm sure he just about went on the pitch.
He did go on the pitch with Brian Clean. It was basically, that was, you can understand the emotion there. That was like the first title in 26 years, virtually ensured with those 2 goals.
So we can forgive that.
Well, the fact is, if you go 10 yards on the pitch and you're nowhere near any players, but if you start going on players and so on, I think it's a problem.
He ran a long way to join it.
Yeah. I thought Gary Monk was quite restrained, because I think I might have done worse than what he done. You can understand his frustration.
And he steps into his path to make sure that
absolutely. Do you not blame? I wouldn't blame him.
But of course,
I know it's not right.
The fourth official's got to anticipate that. He's got to be there. The referee, quite rightly, he should have been up as he walked back with the players.
Absolutely.
He should have taken the action. And then Gary Monk's going, well, at least the referees.
The fourth official should be proactive.
Wagner's comments since then, he's apologised, have been contrite. Gary Monk, a little bit sanctimonious, I found, about why I was, brought up to show respect and everything like that. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah,
I'm saying
Wenger's played the foreign card. He's played the card. Well, it might be different in England. But the rules are the same all over the world. The manager can't run on the pitch. No, you just can't do it, and you don't see it every week in Germany either. So
no, you don't.
But it was great. Anyway, it was a great talking point, and the FA is going to get involved in this, aren't they? With that too.
Absolutely, and it's a great learning curve for young referees out there about being proactive.
But the other side to this is, they do have to show an example of referees to the rest of football, because if we had Sunday League football, the managers running on every, well, there would be punch-ups galore, so you can't have it.
Games abandoned.
This was mass jostling. There were no punches whatsoever, but the FA bound to get involved, aren't they? Talking about being furious as he was there, and you'd have been furious if you'd have been Gary Monk. I think you were furious anyway about your team QPR, and they lost 1-0 at Blackburn. Tony Harrington's in charge, and quite clearly I think we've seen on television that Connor Washington had an effort that crossed the line and wasn't given.
It's not so much the referee, I think it's the assistant that's got to see that, and time again, through You Are the Ref, we've said, why have we not got goal line technology in the Championship, because it's massive. It's so important. Relegation, promotion to the Premier League. You know, and we said it before, it should be from League Two all the way up.
Do you support that, Paul?
Yes, and not only that, there was a couple of games. There was one game where the ball went out just outside the post. I forget which game that was now.
Yes, it was out of play.
And it was out of play, and he came round and just tucked it in the goal.
Wasn't it in the Everton
game? It was
Everton-Bournemouth game.
It was the Everton
right,
game.
yes.
The Bournemouth player Arter, I think.
It was.
But now,
It was.
so I'm thinking, well, surely we should have something for that as well,
Yeah, it was
because
outside the line.
because if they score from it from that position, we should be covering that instance as well.
Fortunately,
really.
that didn't affect the result, but it's a great point well made. Just briefly in the Championship, Andy Madley was busy. Birmingham 1, Fulham 0. Ryan Fredericks sent off for a bad challenge on Craig Gardner in that. Zola's first win at the 11th attempt, following Gary Rowett. Paul Tierney, Nottingham Forest 2, Aston Villa 1. Jack Grealish sent off. His first yellow was for kicking the ball away. That's the really silly one, eh?
It is, and that's where we talk about, you spoke about pundits earlier, they were saying, oh, how can he be cautioned for that challenge? It's never a yellow card. And then all of a sudden, 10, 15 minutes later, they come back and say, oh, he was cautioned for kicking the ball away. So he's got himself to blame.
Yeah, silly fault, yeah. Briefly in the Premier League, some good performances from referees. Graham Scott, now, you and others have been saying he should get more games in the Premier League. Southampton 1, West Ham 3. I've got no note other than the score for that.
No, it's good to see, you know, he's had a tough time since he's got promoted to the Premier League, and it's good to see him, you know, coming out of the game unscathed. And for these guys to improve, you need to give them more games. Yeah. If you're not going to get, I mean, you know, we look at Roger East at Swansea, Southampton during the week. He's gone 10 weeks without refereeing in the Premier League, and then he's thrown in to a massive game. You know, it's like you wouldn't throw a player into a Premier League game if he'd been out 10 weeks, would you? Out of the Premier League.
Yeah. So anyway, let's hope he gets a few more games. Graham Scott. It's the only way to sort of.
Well, Graham Scott, Stuart Atwell, and Paul Tierney. We need to give these rookies more games.
Mike Jones figures frequently, and he had all the goals, and you referred to it just now, that Everton 6, Bournemouth 3. One hell of a game. I've only got the scoreline written down, apart from what you said there with one of the Bournemouth goals having crossed the line.
Noted, yeah.
Do referees enjoy that sort of game when they have 9 goals in it?
Well, it is. I mean, I remember refereeing Portsmouth Reading in the Premier League, and it was 7-4. It was fabulous. I gave 12 free kicks all game. Yeah. Brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant.
You can revel in it, even if you can't quite celebrate goals. 1 or 2 referees have been known to celebrate goals. And in that game, there was a goal celebrated, wasn't there, by Ross Barkley before he'd actually put it in. He actually went like that and then slid it in, which was, well, I suppose that's great to see, colourful spectacle. Lee Mason, OK, he's made a lot of errors this season. I think anybody would have to accept that, not least Sunderland Spurs during the week, a week ago, when Jack Rodwell should have been sent off. But in fairness to Lee Mason, Hull 2, Liverpool 0. I don't think he got anything wrong, so it was a good performance.
Routine game. I think you could have refereed that one, mate.
I'm not so sure about that. I'm really not so sure about that. Liverpool had 72% possession in there. But credit where credit's due, Lee Mason not at the centre of any incident, so he must have refereed it well. Must have. Crystal Palace 0, Sunderland 4 was Andre Mariner. Nothing. There was somebody raised the point, should Sunderland's Larson, who was already caught, should have been sent off for a trip?
Another day, another referee.
He was on the edge, wasn't he?
May have sent him off. But we want to, you know, what we've got to remember is a careless challenge is not an automatic yellow card, and we don't want to see players sent off for. But
what
nothing.
we do need is the pundits able to recognise what's what. And sometimes we have players who are saying, really, they're living off, well, it used to be like this, and we'd like it to still be like that. But actually, we have to go off the letter of the law, and they need explaining because it is the forum for explaining things to the public, to players, to managers. And then, you know, consistently told what are the proper rules.
We just got
not
time.
what we like to hear, from years ago.
We just got time for Kevin Friend's game, and I want a handshake between you two before the end of the programme, by the way, because there wasn't one between Tony Pulis and Mark Hughes after West Brom 1, Stoke 0. Mark Hughes was disappointed the referee didn't clamp down on time wasting. That's a difficult area for a referee, isn't it?
I think it's just shifting the blame from your players to the referee, isn't it? Do you not think?
No, it's aggravating when it happens. You know, and you know they're so slow. They do this. They fall over. But, they do. You know, it goes on. It's hard to add it all up, I think. But What would you do in that situation as a ref?
Well,
you know, because how do you add that time? Would you just guess, or do
Well,
you say,
no,
well,
to be fair-
they deserve a bit longer because this lot are taking a nicky?
I've watched West Brom several times, and they are the worst team in the Premier League for slowing the game down and taking their time and goal kicks and throw-ins and free
maybe
kicks.
it wasn't.
So maybe he had a genuine
Okay,
gripe
guess
about
what?
that.
Guess what? We've run out of time. It's full time whistle, very little stoppage time. Bit of a handshake
Great to
between
see
the
you,
two of
pal. Great to see you, pal.
Thanks very much indeed. Great to see you. See you again next week. Bye.